Sanhedrin, the Pei Zayin number Aleph, starting from Pei Vav on the base, from the Mishnah on the bottom of Pei Vav on the base. Zokin Mamrei, a Zokin, a sage who rebels against the words of the best Nagadel. Shadam, like it says in the Pasuk, Ki Yipali Mimcha Davel HaMishpat. If there's something hidden from you, a matter of judgment, Zog the Gemara. There were 3 courts in Yerushalayim in which the Yidden would come from all different cities to seek the Psak Halacha. One sat at the entrance of the Harabais. Another court sat high on the mountain Al at the entrance of the Hazara. And then there was a third court that was in the Azara, half was Bakach, half was not in the Azara, half was in Chayil, was not in the holy place, half was in the holy, half was not. And that's the Bezdin HaGadol of the 71 Dayanim. Boyin, the Zaken, and the Bezdin who argued between each other went to the Bezdin, Lizesh Hal Pesach HaBais, to the first court that they encountered first, which was at the entrance of the Harabais. And the Zaken would say in front of Bezdin at the entrance of the Harabais, this is how I dashen, this is how my Chavedim, the Yonim of my city dashen. This is how I taught, and this is how my Chavedim of my city taught. Im Shamu, if the Bezdin at the entrance of the Harabais heard of the Psak from their Rebbes, so the Bezdin would say, according to the Kabbalah, that the Psak that they heard from the Rebbes, but if they didn't hear, this Bezdin would come along together with the Bezdin of the city and the Zaken Mamrei. They would go, they would go to the Dayanim at the entrance of the Hazara, and they would say, this is how I dashen, this is how my Chavedim dashen, this is how I taught, this is how my Chavedim taught. Im Shamu, if the Bezdin at the entrance of the Hazara heard from the Rebbes what the Psak is, and then the Bezdin would say, according to the way they had received the Psak from the Rebbes, but if they don't have an answer, so now, this Bezdin, inclusive with the previous Bezdin, and the Bezdin of his city with the Zaken Mamrei would go, they would go to the Bezdin HaGadol that was in Lishra Gazis, from where the Torah went forth out to the Bnei Yisrael. Everybody had to follow the Hayrah of that Bezdin HaGadol. So like it says in the Pasuk, he should do this thing according to what he tells you, from the chosen place which Hashem has chosen, from that place that Hashem has chosen, meaning from the Bezdin HaGadol, the place where the Bezdin HaGadol sits, whatever they pass, and that's what we follow. If the Zaken returned to his city, and he taught like he was accustomed to teaching before the Bezdin HaGadol had paskin. He used to paskin against what the Bezdin HaGadol paskin, but they didn't. Before the Bezdin HaGadol gave its psak, potter, he's potter. But once the Bezdin HaGadol paskin against the way he was learning, chayiv, and then he went ahead and taught again his way against the Bezdin HaGadol, then he's going to be chayiv like a Zaken Mamrei, which is chenek. Never like it says in the pasuk, "Va'ish asher yas bezodin," and the man who will act with willfulness, he's not going to be chayiv until he instructs people to act in accordance to his opinion. Talmud, that didn't reach to the age of Apsak, that means he didn't reach the age of 40 years old. That he went against the Bezdin, against the Bezdin HaGadol, and he went back to the city and and he nevertheless instructed against the Bezdin HaGadol. Potter is going to be potter, because the din of Zaken Mamrei is only by somebody who's a mumcha and a baki, meaning that he's somebody who is shaykh to be a Rab Hira, that he could give Psaki Dinim. But as long as he didn't reach the age of 40, he's not a musmach, he's not shaykh to give a Psak. Nimsa Chumna, the Chumna that we placed on a Talmud, on a student, that he cannot pass until he's 40, Lekula works for his leniency. Because even if he paskin against the Bezdin HaGadol, he's not going to be Chayv Misa, because if he was right to be a Pesach, he would have gotten killed. It says, if there's something will be hidden from you, a matter of Allah will be hidden from you, b'mufla. It says, Yipali is Malashim Mufla, somebody who's a Mumchel Baki. Somebody who sits in Bezdin. That's what the Pasuk is talking about. Excluding a Talmud who didn't reach yet to the age of Eidah. He cannot be in the din of Zakim Mamri. It says, Ki Yipali Mimcha Mimcha. What do we learn out from Mimcha? It's somebody, a Baki, in the Iber Hashana, whether to make a month, a full month, a 30-day month, or a 29-day month, or to make a second month, Adar. So too, where do we find Mimcha has to do with counsel, with advice. Where do we see that? Because it says in the Navi of Nachum, Perikal Pasiyal, Mimech Yatza, from you went out, Chesral Hashem Ra, those that are plotting on Hashem bad, Yoyetz B'Yal, who gives evil counsel. So you see, Yoyetz has to do with Mimech, Mimcha. So you see, counsel is connected with the word Mimcha. Davar, he says, Mimcha Davar, Zu Allah, that's halacha l'mashmei Sinai. That even in this, if he gets killed, the Zakamami, if he argues against the halacha l'mashmei Sinai, La Mishpat, that says in the Pasuk, Zahadin, that somebody who comes to argue that on something that you learned from Gzeira Shava, from one of the Shleish Asamidas, Hatarin Nadesh, and he argues on that, the Zakmami against the Bezdin HaGadol, he's going to be Chayiv Chenek, Bein Dam Ladam, between blood and blood. Meaning, but what does it mean between blood? So he says, Bein Dam Nida, whether regarding the bloods of a Nida, or Dam Leda, whether regarding the dinim of the blood after birth, or Dam Ziva, or the blood of Azava, which comes 11 days after the Shiva Nekiyim, Bein Din Ledin, between verdict and verdict. What is that? Bein, by Din Nefashis side, between the dinim of Nefashis, or between the dinim Mames, or between the dinim of Mamanis, or between the Makis, or between the dinim of Makis. If a Zak Mamri argues in any of these topics, he's going to be chayiv against the Bezdin HaGadol, will be chayiv chenek, bein negel and negam, and between the affliction and another affliction, meaning bein negadam, whether it's the afflictions that were in the dinim that we're talking about in negei adam, or negei batim, or negei to nega batim, or negei begadim, or negei to negem atzaras on clothing. So if he argues with the Bezdin HaGadol, will be chayiv chenek, divrei yeilu, divrei. It says matters. It says davar, matters. Eila charamim. These are referring to charamim. Charam are the things that a person made hegdish. He made a neder for hegdish. It's a lashon. It's a lashon neder to make property hegdish, placing it under the hegdish. Erchin is a neder of erchin, that he sets a value of a person to give to hegdish. Hegdishes, and these refer to some different kinds of nidarim that have to do with hegdish. So if Zakmami argues on any of these nidarim against the Bezdin HaGadol, he's going to be chayiv chenek. Ribeis, it says the lashon ribeis dispute zu ashkar seita. This is referring to making a seita drink the bitter waters, or arifas egla, or knocking off the head of a calf when between two cities, where we don't know which one, and we found that person between two cities. So we go to the closest city and we knock off the head of a calf, and the purity or purification of a mitzvah. In any of these, if there's a machlekes between the Bezdin HaGadol and Zakmami argues on him, and he paskins against them, then he's going to be chayiv chenek. Sheracha means in your gates, meaning this is referring to leket, by gathering the stalks and he drops it, or shicho, he forgets, or pay and leaving the corners of the fields for the aniyim. It says it's mashma till now they were sitting. That argued on the zaken that was sitting in the city, even makmakavuladin. Here he's saying even if they were commanded to get up from the Moshe Bezdin and go with the zaken to ask the Sanhedrin, and you will go up to this place. It comes to tell you that the Beis Hamikdash, that the Torah was mechayiv to go up to it, is mi Bati from the Bati Hadin of every city, Gavaya, who me'id ma'achir shabe'eretz Yisrael. So he says that to the place, it comes to tell you, the Kapta tells you that you shall rise from your court in your city, and you should go up. Tells you that Beis Hamikdash was higher than Eretz Yisrael, and the desert of Eretz Yisrael gave him a kol. And furthermore, Eretz Yisrael was higher than all other lands. And the pasuk continues, "Elama came to the place Malamid Shahamakim Goyim." This teaches us that the location of the highest court causes the halacha of a zakamami to take an effect. L'chiv shel zakamami. But if the Sanhedrin was outside of that place when they were asked, then he's not going to be chayiv for rebelling. It's understood that Beis Hamikdash was higher than Eretz Yisrael. It's written, you shall go up. Ella, this that the Brayso said, Eretz Yisrael gavei mekol haratzis, but now how do we know Eretz Yisrael is higher than all the other lands? It says in Yemiyah Yamim Bayim Ne'um Hashem. It's written, therefore, behold, days are coming, says Hashem, and they will no more say, or no longer say, Chaya Hashem, as Hashem lives, Asher Hela has been Mitzrayim, that the Bnei Yisrael who took up from the land of Mitzrayim, Ki'im, but rather Chaya Hashem, as Hashem lives, Asher Helav, Asher Hevi, Ezer Yibeis Yisrael, who brought up the seed of the house of Yisrael. From the northern country of Babel, and from all the other countries to which I had driven them, and they shall dwell in their land. So from this that it says, from all these places that they were sent out to all the other lands, and they should be brought up to their land. Brought up means that Eretz Yisrael was higher. Only if there's a machlekes with the Beis Nagala B'inyan Davshes Deinei Kodesh v'Shigigos Chatos. Only a Easter that the punishment will be Kodesh for Mezid, and B'Shegi he brings a couple Chatos. Those are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says Zakamam is Chayiv Davshi Kodei Medivya Teira, meaning something that's it's in the Ikinian is explicitly stated in Teresh Miksav, and the Pratim Upirushe Medivya Seifim. But the pratim, the details, are by the earlier chachamim. So through receiving from their rabbis, or the 13 midas that the Torah dash is gedashened by, and the Zaken argues on this pirish. Rabbi Shimon says the Zaken Mamre is going to be chayiv afilu, even if they argued in a diktuk echad, in one drash of the Torah from the Duktei Seifim, that they dashen from the Shleish Hasemidish, just from that. Just one of that is going to be he's going to be chayiv misa chenek as a zaken mamre. What am I talking about? Where does Abmeya learn his din that it has to be on something that shezdei nekados v'shigagos echatas? So he says Gama Dava Dava. He learns out from the Gzeda Shavik. Ksiv hacha b'pasha zaken mamre. It says he palim imcha dava lamishpat. And the gate is that the Sanhedrin bring on a person who sins, meaning a chatas that the Sanhedrin brings on a sin that they cause most of the tzibur to follow, which was a mistake. And it was concealed from the klal, causing the whole klal to sin. Malahalam, just like there, it's a par. Helam Dava, it's talking about a par for that it was concealed from the Dayanim from the Sanhedrin and also from the people that they have to bring a par halam dava. It was only on a sin that only such a sin that b'mezid will be kares and b'shegeg chatas hafkan. So too by zakamamrei, we learn out from the Gzeir Shavat Davadav shechayiv that a zakamamrei is only going to be chayiv al zdei kares v'shegeg chatas. Only in a sin that b'mezid is kares and b'shegeg is chatas. Rabbi Yehuda, where does he learn out? It has to be something that's its ikes mefurish. Its topic is mefurish b'Torah. He says al pi atira sheyaricha. Al pi atira sheyarucha. It says, according to the Torah, they will teach you. Adi k'Torah b'Yerucha, which indicates that the Zaken Mamre is only chayiv, is not going to be chayiv until there's a matter that the argument against the Sanhedrin Agdela was first on halacha, and they will teach you. Meaning, something that's mamish in the Torah, and the Seifrim and the Chachamim taught you, meaning Yeruch is going on the Seifrim that taught you the details. Reb Shimon, where does Reb Shimon learn out that even on one of the Shleish Esamidas he's going to be chayav? So he says, he says that they will tell you from that place. The Lashon Ahu is Afilu Kol Dahu, which includes even the slightest instruction that the Seifrim give you. That means even on one of the Shleish Esamidas. Is on the first Baraisa that detailed the Inyanim, which is Shaykh to the Zaken Mamre. Explain this Baraisa according to the Shita Rameya that a Zaken Mamre is not chayiv only if it's a davar sheish by kares, b'mezid, and b'shegeg chatas. How is Shaykh the Chiyuv HaKadosh b'chol Inyanim that were enumerated in the Baraisa? Rabbi said to Papa, his Talmud Pug, Targum go out and explain the Baraisa. Go interpret before Rav Huna Rav China the Baraisa, because he's the one that is. So go, Papa, go and explain it to him. That's what Rabbi said to his Talmud. So Papa recited the Baraisa and he explained it. Ki Yipalei. The pasuk when it says Yipalei b'mufla shebebes nakas medaber is obviously talking about somebody who is a mumcha. It says sheyesh bebes nakas medaber that sits in the bezdin. Mimcha and not a talmud. Mimcha zayoyetz is referring to counseling. Sheyedei la'abashanim ve'likvei chadoshim. He knows how to be ma'abed shanim, meaning he knows how to make a full month. Which month should be a full month of 30 days. And to add another adder to the months. Ke the like that machlekes, this inya machlekes, which Hazakan was arguing with Sanhedrin, is like the machlekes that we learned in the Mishnah in Eides. Hein, Rabbi Shua would have a fayis. It says over there, Heidu sheme'atmis hashana kol chedesh adar. They testified, Hein heidu, they testified that we may add a month into the year during the entire month of Adar. But their testimony is necessary because they were there were people who argued and said that to add a month was only until Purim, till the 14th day of Adar. So I said then could refer to where the Chachamim and the Sanhedrin disagreed as to whether or not to make another month, or yet to make a month, and so they're after Purim, I'm not Purim. So there were others that said the whole Chedesh Adar. Hein Heidu, meaning Yabishumi Papayis testifies Ma'abes Hashana Kol Chedesh Adar. You have the whole Chedesh Adar that you could be Ma'abed a year and add another month. And then the rest of the Chachamim, Shahayu, other Chachamim Aimrim, that you're not Ma'abed Hashana, only have that Purim, but after Purim you can't. So now, if here you can have a Machlekes, meaning a Zaken could argue on the Bezna Gadol, in the same Machlekes of Rabbi Shua Papayis with the Chachamim. And the Chachamim say that no, it's only till Purim. And if the Zaken will paskin like Rabbi Shua Papayis, the whole month, so the Ilahai Gisa, If they go like one side of the machlekes, kashadi comes with Pesach. Kashadi comes with Pesach. They'll be mata comes with Pesach. Because if they do it after the 15th and the Ma'abed Shana, it's not a real Iber Shana. And so you'll be mata comes with Pesach. And if the Zakim will pass in Lahai Gisa, like it's had Hashem the Bez Nagadol, that you not ma'aber after Purim, and the Zakim says, okay, the first one was that if they pass in that you ma'aber the whole month, and the Zakim will say you can be a ma'aber the whole month of Adar, so you'll be mata chametz b'Pesach, because let's say the Chachamim, for instance, that the Sanhedrin said you should be ma'aber after Purim, and the Zakin said no, it's not going to be Ubedes. So now, when you ma'aber the Chodesh, so when it comes 2 months later, they're not going to be celebrating Pesach according to the Zakim Mamre. They're going to be on Chametz Pesach or Lahaiki, so they're going to follow the second way. The best not going to pass him that you cannot be ma'aber after Purim, and the Zakim will say you could, and he will be ma'aber after Purim, and so it'll be 2 months later, and really according to the Chacham, only the next month, right after the month of Purim is Pesach, and they're not going to celebrate Pesach then, so the Kashari Chametz Pesach, they're going to be Mata Chametz on Pesach. Doba, says Papa, this halacha that the Zaken and Sanhedrin are arguing is Behilchis Yoim Achad Asa of Yemei Ziba that said Lemesh Sinai. And the kitzur of the Dini Azava is the Azava is seeing them not in the time of the days of Anida. There's 7 days of Anida, and then comes 11 days after. Those 11 days after are the days of Ziva. She sees one day, she has to be Shemer, she has to watch a day against a day, or 2 days, or still watches 1 day of Tara, and then goes to Mikvah, and she can be with her husband. But if it's 3 days, it's a Zavi Gedela, and she has to wait 7 days and bring her carbon. But now the Gemara is asking, how about if the Itma, we learned in the Amachlik Amaroim Asiri, if it was the 10th day that she saw Yemei Ziva. So now you can't have 3 days. The 10th and 11th is not going to, because the 12th day is already Damnida again. After the 11 days of 7 days of Nekiyim, it turns into the Damnida again. So what's if it was the 10th day where you can't have 3 consecutive days? That's the first time it sees. Are you Shemeres the 11th day or not? And then only after the 11th day in the evening, could he be with the husband? Rabbi Yechna says Asir is like Chi, that it's one of the 3 days that you could that turns into Zav Gedela. Ben Lakish Amar. Ben Lakish says Asiri Ke'achad Asar, that since Asiri cannot be, if it's the first time that she sees is on the 10th day, and since it cannot be counted as part of the Zav Gedela, so it has a din like it's seeing on the 11th day, which you don't have to be Shemeres Yom. Just as soon as the blood stops that day, she goes to mikveh and she can be with her husband that day itself. Rabbi Yechna says the 10th day is like the 9th day, that you have to be Shemeres Yom. Chi, just like the Chi on the 9th day, if she saw blood by Yishimar, she would have to wait a day of Tara. And after the whole day of Tara, she's not mutter to the husband, only the night after the 10th. So too, the 10th day, that she saw blood, boy Shimur, will need to wait a Yom Tara on the whole 11th day, and only after the 11th day being Tara, by night, if the mikveh, she can go and live with her husband. That the Yom Asiri came Achad Asa, that the 10th day has a din like the 11th day, just like the 11th day. Doesn't need a Shima of a whole day, another whole day, only it's mutter, ready that same day. The moment she stops, she just goes to Bikran, she can live with her husband. So to the 10th day, doesn't need Shimur on the 11th day. The 10th day itself, right when it stops, she could be in the evening with her husband. So here you can have a machlekes between the Zaken and Sanhedrin. In the same machlekes of Reish Lakish and Rabbi Yochanan, that if a Isha had seen blood on the 10th day, if she has to be Shema Yoim, the whole day after, in order to be mutter to her husband. If the Sanhedrin passing like Rabbi Yochanan, that you have to have a full day, and the Zaken passing like Reish Lakish that you don't. So this is dealing with an Isa of Kares. Because a Zava is forbidden to her husband, and if they live together, there's Kares just like a Nida, like it says in the Pasuk, Kol Yimei Zayiv, Tum Asa Ki Mei Nidasatiya. So if you're going to follow, the Zaken will pass like Reish Lakish that you don't have to wait a day, and the halacha that the Beis Din will pass that you do have to wait a day, and he's not going to wait a day, and will live with his wife that night, will be over on Isa Kares, just like by Nida. Mishpat Zahadin. Mishpat is a Gzeir Shava. Which Gzeir Shava was the Tana referring to? Ledin Bitimanu Sasei, the Benegeya, to a daughter that was born from him raping a woman. This erva of the daughter that was born from rape, Asa, we learn out that it's Asa of him through Gzeir Shava from Heina. It says Heina. It says Asya. We learn out the Einish of through Gzeir Shava between the words Zima v'Zima. A Zaken that argues on this Gzeir Shava and Paskins argues on the Gzeir Shava that the best Nagadol had Paskin, and he's mated the Isa Kares of living with the daughter of the mother he raped. Then and if this Zakmami Mata is Mata him, he's considered as a Zakmami and he'll be Chayiv Chenek. And saying to the same thing is if the Zaken argues with the Sanhedrin, Bein Dam Ledam, Bein Dam Nida, sign the dinim of Nida. Dam Lido, sign the blood of the afterbirth. Dam Ziva, and the blood of Zava. What are they arguing? He says, you want to buy Dam Nida, Beplukta, Akabi, in the Machik Zavakabi, and Rabbanan, that we learned Masachta Nida, even the Gate, color of Dam Tmayim, Dam Hayorik, like a yellowish blood. Akabi Matame. Akabi Malala says she's Tamei. From that time that she saw the blood, Acham Metar and Acham say it's not Dam Nida, and this is the Nida to her husband. There's an in of Kares. What could happen? Because let's say she saw the yellow Dam one day, and 2 days later she sees red Dam. So according to the Chachamim and according to the Sanhedrin, they'll pass like the Chachamim. That's the days of counting starts 2 days later. And she's going to finish her 7 days from the 2 days earlier from when she counted the yellow dam. So when they live together, they're going to be Eivan Eisa Kares. Dam Leida, so too by Dam after birth. Beplukta Rav V'Levi. When they get to the blood that a Isha sees after birth, the Itmar Rav Omar. Rav said, side the blood that's Tamei B'Shvu'ayim, the first 2 weeks after the birth. Side the blood that comes afterwards till the end of 80 days, which is Dam Tahir. The 66 days after the 14 days is Dam Tahir. It's Memayin Echad. It comes from one stream of blood within her body. The Gzeis HaKasav is every blood that the woman sees in the first 2 weeks after the birth. HaTeira Tim'atu. The Teira made that blood considered Tamei. And the Dam that comes after the 2 weeks, HaTeira Teharte. The Torah was metarid. Because it's one mayan, he says one stream of blood, it's just like Zeis HaKasav. The first 2 weeks of the stream, it's Talmudic blood, and everything afterwards is Torah. But the lady argues, he says it's 2 streams of blood, and therefore there's a different din for each one. Nistama Tame, once the 2 weeks pass, the blood of Tame passes, so that stream of blood closes. When Niftach and a different stream of blood opens up, which is Tar. Nistamatar, and then at the end of the Tara, the Taric blood is closed up. Niftach Tame, and then the Tame comes back. So there's a machlekes. What's if the blood continue the whole time. So according to Rav, it never stopped. So it's after the 2 weeks, if the blood, I'm sorry, according to Levi, it never stopped. The Tardik blood never closed up because since it never stopped. So it's all from Tamidik blood. So even the 66 days that come after it is Tami. But according to Rav, no. Rav says there's only one stream, and no stream, there's no opening and closing stream. It's like it's Sakasu. So according to Rav, it's Sakasu, it's Taridika blood. So if the Bezdin Paskin is Taridika blood, and or let's say the reverse, if Bezdin will Paskin like Levi, that's Taridika blood, and the Zakam Mamre will say it's Taridika blood, they're going to live together. You're dealing with a din that has to do with Karetz. Dam Ziva, the blood of Zavuz, we plucked it up, let's wherever Yeshua. He's in the Machlik, so that let's wherever Yeshua. If not, that we learn Masechta Nida. Kisha saw that if she was having birth pangs, Tsar from birth, Shleisha Yamim, 3 consecutive days, within the 11 days of Ziva, and she gave birth, she's not a Zava from the blood that she had seen because it came from the birth pangs. But if it stopped, the Tsar stopped Meslays a measure of 24 hours, and only afterwards she gave birth. This is later in the blood of Zavuz. It has nothing to do with birth pangs because the birth pangs stopped and for 24 hours, and then she gave birth. So the blood of Zava has nothing to do. It's blood of Zava. Yeshua says, Laila v'yoyim. It doesn't have a din as Yeledus Mezav that she gave birth in the days of Zavuz. Only if it was a Laila v'yoyim shleimim. Only if there was a night before and a whole day after that Davka, then Leila Shabbos v'yom, like Friday night on Shabbos, only then we say it's birth in the days of Zava. But what if it was 24 hours, but not, let's say 6 o'clock, and then 6 o'clock was the day that she gave birth. That's the 24 hours, but the 6 o'clock was in the same day that of the hours, in the same time. So you didn't have a night and a day clean. Shav seminatzar, loy min adam. So it's not totally. It's not considered as dam zavus. Rather, it's considered as the dam from the pangs. So if Besna Galo will pass like Abelazar, that a Isha that stopped 24 hours and gave birth has a din that she gave birth bezavus, and the Zakin Mamre will argue and say no, it's not a zava like Rabbi Yeshua. Because Rabbi Yeshua says it has to be Laila with Yoim. So then you're dealing with a din of Karis. Zag Yimara Bein Din Ladin, between one verdict and another. Bein Din is between Din Imanas to Bein Din Nefashis, and between Din Nefashis, Abed Din Makis. Says Yimara Din Imanas. What are they arguing with Din Imanas? So Yimara Bepluk to the Shmuel with Rabbi Avo. In the Machliks of Shmuel, Rabbi Avo. The Abba Shmuel said, Shnaim Shadanu, 2 people that were done, Din Havois, Dinayim Din. That Din is a Din. Al-Shikho, Bezn Chatzah. But they're called a Bezn Chatzah because they were able to be done Bishleisha. If it's a Bezn of 2, it's a Bezn Chatzah. So that's only according to Shmuel. But according to Rabbi Avo, it's not. Rabbi Avo Amal, it's not going to be a din. Now we got a problem. If the Zakim Mamre or Paskin like Shmuel, that the din is a din. So if there was a money issue, and he was Makadosh Isha. I'm sorry. If he was Makadosh Isha, according to the Zakim Mamre, if he was Makadosh Isha with that money. So according to the Sanhedrin, that's Mekadesh Begezel. She wouldn't be Mekadeshes. So now we got a problem. He's going to cause a Isur of Eshes Ish. Shabbat Allah b'mezid is going to be Chai B'karis. For instance, if we find if there was a bezna of two paskin, and they took out mami from one of the balei din and gave it to another. So according to Shmuel, the mami now belongs to this guy who they gave the money to. So if this guy was mekadesh isha with this money, she would be mekadeshes according to Rabbi, according to Shmuel. According to Rabbi Avo, no, the mami that this guy gave to the Isha is Mama Gezel. So if he's going to be Mekadesh with that money, it'll be like he was Mekadesh with Gezel, which he's not going to be Mekadeshes. Like it says in Kedushin. So now the Zakin who argues with the Sanhedrin, in this Machlekes of Rabbi Avo Shmuel, so he is a Zakin Mamre, because this Machlekes Nagas is Nageta Isa Veishasish. That lives with that if she now he went and was mekadesh another woman, so and then he lives with this woman that he gave this mama Gzela, so he's going to be chai b'karis. So Papa explains the second the Medina Fashion be plucked to Deborah Rabbanan. The Machlekes of Rabbi Rabbanan. The time that we looked at Rabbi said Rabbi Yema, when it says in the pasuk, when somebody had in mind to kill one person, he kills another person. It says when the Sata Nefesh Tachas Nefesh. There it's talking about Mamain, that he pays to the Yorshim of the person who got killed, like he would have. This person would have been an Eved, how much he would have been sold as an Eved. But we don't kill the murderer because someone who has in mind to kill one person and kills another person, he's part of a Misa. You're saying we're talking about the Tashma Mamain. Oh my gosh. Or perhaps we mean killing another person. It says in an earlier pasuk, one who he hit a pregnant woman and she lost the children in Asmeflilin. He has to pay money up. And in now pasuk it says Lashon Nesina, which is Meshate both psukim, meaning they have the same word Nesina, Malahala, just like by a pregnant woman, Mamain. It's talking about paying the Demei Avladis to the Baal Afghan. So too, in Mamain, that he pays the worth of the person who killed the Yarshim, the person who he killed, not intending to kill, he has to pay mami to the Yarshim. The Chacham argue and say, no, it means mamish nefesh, not mami. And here we also fall into the same problem. If he grabs the money from the person who intended to kill one person, he killed another person, according to Chacham, he's chai bisa, but according to Rebbe, you learn out at Zayda Shabbat. So he grabs the money according to Rebbe, but the Chacham, the Sanhedrin pass like the Chacham, there's no Mame, it's Misa, and he used that Mame like Rebbe. Rebbe learns that it's a Mame, and it was Mekadesh Isha. There you're dealing with Isa of Karis that could bring to Karis. And Hazak and the Paskins like Rebbe against the Sanhedrin, who Paskins like the Chachamim, that is Chaim Misa. So then it's considered as a Kiddushay Tos, and he's a Zakim Mamri, and he's going to be Chayiv Chenek. Diniman Makis, and then by Dinimakis. But where are they arguing by Dinimakis? But plukta the Rabbi Yishmael Rabbanan the Machlekes Rabbi Yishmael Rabbanan. It's not that we learned in the beginning of Masechta Sanhedrin the dinim of Chiyuv Malkis on Avedis Leisas B'Shleisha is judged by 3 dayanim. Mishum Rabbi Yishmael Amru. In the name of Rabbi Yishmael, they said that dinim Malkis is done by Bezin Shel Esmer Shleisha in a Bezin of 23. So you see, according to Rabbi Yishmael, Bezin of Shleisha, that gave Malchus Shalakidin is considered as being Chayiv L'Chaveri, that they're Chayiv to pay money. And according to the Chachamim, no, it's considered as good Malchus. And they went and they grabbed money from the three Dayanim because they considered them as being Chayiv L'Chaveri and wanted to be, and he was Mekadosh, he could be Mekadosh a woman with such money, which is not going to be money. It's not going to be a Kiddushin. Here too, we're coming into a Isa of Kodes. And therefore, the Zakamam is going to be Chayiv Misa. Between one neg and another. What does it mean? Between the nigay, the tzaras of a person. Inside, within nigay button. Inside, the tzaras by housing, and nigay begadim, and the tzaras by begadim. Nigay adam, where's the machlokes been nigay to nigay adam? It plucked the Rabbi Shmuel Rabbana. In the machlokes, Rabbi Shmuel Rabbana. It's not that we learned the Mishnah by nigayim. By the sar, the white here, by the tzaras called maheres, is a siman of tumah. So in maheres kadma seyalavam, that means first came the nega, and then came the hair turning into white. Then that's the order for it to become the nega's tummy. But im seyalavam kadma maheres. But if the order of how the Bahadas came about, first the hair turned white, and then came the Bahadas, he's tar. Suffolk, if it's not done, if it's not known which simin came first, Tommy. Rabbi Shua says the nega is weakened, and it's not as strong as it was before. Frankly, one of my keya. What is the kavanah of Rabbi Shua in his words, shekeya nega, that the nega became weakened? It's not talking about so Rabbi said the kavanah is that the nega wasn't kilukeya melayne, that it was weakened from his whiteness, but he's a tired. That's for sure going to be tired. So the Gemara says it is as if it's keya, but not that it's keya. It is as if it's keya. It's weakened. The color has weakened. It's not so strong, and it is going to be tired. So the here pashta halacha we have to know. If the Sanhedrin will paskin, let's say it's Tameh, and then the Zakamamir will paskin like the Mandama that will say it's Tahir, and he enters the Beis Hamikdash, you're dealing with a punishment of Kares. Okay, Zakt Yimad. Nigay, but when you're talking about Tzaras Habat, we look the Rabbi Lezer, Rabbi Shimon Rabbanan. It's not Machlik, Rabbi Lezer, Rabbi Shimon and Rabbanan. It's not that we learned in the Mishnah of Nigayim. Rabbi Lezer, Rabbi Shimon, Ilman Abayis Tam Acha Yira, till he's seen a nega that the share of the nega is so big, Kishnei Grisin, like it's the two grisin are two beans on two stones. It has to be each bean is size on each stone. Bishleik, Salim, and also has to be located on two walls, meaning it has to be in a corner wall that it has to be meaning that it has to be in one length, so you have like at the corner two stones that are attached to each other, and it has the bean length of a tzaras in the length, and two grisim in its width. What is the reason of Rabbi Lezer Rabbi Shimon? Everything because it's written in one pasuk wall, but in the first part it's written walls lashon merabim. So which wall is found to be like two walls? I have to say it's referring to a corner wall where you have two stones touching each other, because now it's kirais, two walls, and it's also one length of one gris by the width of two grisin. And what are they arguing? We looked at Rabbi Yonasan ben Avtoma is Rabbi. The Tanya we learned Rabbi Yonasan Ben Avtomas Oima Menayim. What do we know? The Prich Begodim that if the tzara spread out on the whole beged, if it became tamish, he told that it's going to be tired. So the Gemara nema krachas megabachas b'negei adam, and nema krachas megabachas b'begodim, and it says lashon krachas by begodim. Mal just like by negei adam, but we kulei that if it spread over the whole skin of the mitzvah from the head to the toe, the neg is tired. Avkan. So too, Parabikulei Areza tired, he's going to be tired. The Chacham argue and say, no, he's still going to be tummy. So here you're going to have another problem. The same thing, if a person walks into the Beis HaMikdash with a beggar that the whole beggar has a tzaras, so if you're going to paskin like Rabbi Yonasan ben Avtomas, and you're going to say it's tired, and the Chacham will say it's tummy, and the Sanhedrin will say it's tummy, and the Zakim will say it's tired, so you're dealing with a din of kares.